Hello everyone. So we are back with the design series, and today we are going to see the last design pattern of this series, which is the state design pattern. So first of all, it is one of the most important design patterns, and it is very highly asked in the interview questions as well. Plus, it is widely used in the system design questions which are asked in the interviews. So let us see what a state pattern is. First of all, a state pattern allows an object to alter its behavior when an internal state changes. It appears as if the object has changed its class. So instead of using multiple or chained if else or switch condition, here we prefer to put the state specific logic into separate classes. So that is the objective behind the state design pattern. So let us try to implement an example and let us see how can we implement it and what actually is the state design pattern. It will be more clear with the example. So we'll take an example of a media player and we'll try to implement multiple states of the media player. So we have state.cpp hash include iostream using namespace std. So the first thing that I would need is the uh, state interface. So there can be multiple states. So we'll define a common interface for them. Class, say player state. Now inside the player state, the first thing I would need uh, says we can have three states. It can be in the playing state, it can be in the pause or stop. So virtual void play, it will be having uh, say a media player class that will be implementing it as a context basically, which will save the state of the current state of the player, you can say. So media player pointer player, and in the same way we'll be having virtual void pause media player pointer player equals to 0, virtual void stock player. After this I would also need a destructor virtual player state, and we can leave it empty. So we are getting an error in media player, so we'll do a forward declaration class media player. Right. Now let us implement the media player class, which is a kind of context, you can say. Class media player. Now inside media player, we'll be having, first of all, like I said, it is a context class which is going to save the state of the player. So I need to save the states. So I can have player state pointer as state, and then we'll be having a constructor in the public section, media player. It will take the initial state, and we'll just assign it to the state variable, initial state. After this, we need a function which can set the state. So void set state. It's a kind of setter only. Player state pointer, say new state, and we'll say state equals to new state. Then we also need to override the methods, not override. Since it is a context class, so we need to call the play, pause, and stop through the media player only. So we'll be having the same kind of functions, play, and it will not be having any argument. Like media player, play, pause, and stop will be called by the client, and whatever functionality will be there, it is implemented underneath this function. So my states play will be called, and since play takes the media player pointer, so we will just pass this. In the same way, we need a void pause, state pause, and we'll pass this. Again, void stop and state stop, and we'll pass this. So with this, the media player class is now done. Now we will be moving for the concrete states that we want to have. So what all are the states? We'll be implementing those classes. Class, first of all, let us write down the comment. Concrete state. Now class, we have a plain state which is going to implement our interface, which is the player state. Right. In the same way, let us first write down the class name. Paused state. Again, implementing publicly the player state. Class stop state. Publicly implementing the player state. Now let us figure out what all functions do we need. Override. So since we are in the plain state, so the first function that we need to implement is the void play. Media player. It is going to take a pointer, player, override, and we are just going to log out something like already playing. If we are in the playing state and if we are calling the play button again, then it means we are already in the playing state. So we are going to print out that already playing. Apart from this, we'll be having a certain pause and stop function. We can just declare them void pause media player override, and we'll just leave it here as of now. We'll implement it at the end. Implementing all, since we have multiple states, playing state, pause state, and stop state. So we will implement all these functions at the end all together. So stop media player override. Now, in the same way, we have to implement, we have to write down all these classes. So I'm just going to copy it. Okay, we can copy with the public as well. Let us write it down to understand it better. So we have void play. Inside play, we are going to take media player pointer, player, override, and we'll leave it here. Void pause. Again, taking media player pointer, player. We are going to override and implement it. See out. Already paused. Enter. And the last function, void stop. Again, taking media player pointer, player, override, and we'll leave it here. Now in the same way, we need to implement the state, stop state, public void play media player pointer player override. Now void pause. It is going to take media player pointer player override. Then we are going to log out something that since the player is in the stop state, so we cannot pause it, right? So cout can't pause player is stopped. Since it is already in the stop state, so we cannot pause it. Void stop media player pointer player, and we are going to take log out something, which is, first of all, let us also write override. We are overriding this method like already stopped, right? So with this, all the states are covered. Now let us implement the functions that we have left in the classes. So we can say state transitions. So why I'm implementing these functions all together? Because in all these remaining functions, we have to make the transition between multiple states. So that's why we are trying to implement them all together. Void playing state pause. So first was the playing state. We have pause and stop method. So we are going to implement it. Media player pointer player cout say PAUSING pausing playback handle. And after this, here comes the main point. We are going to create a static object of pause state, and we will just pass pause state. We are going to name it pause, and then we will say the player should switch to the next state. So it means the set state method will be called, and we will pass the reference of the paused state. So why do we choose to have a static variable over here? Because every time you are going to switch between the states, you're going to, if you're dynamically going to allocate it, then you are going to create multiple objects every time. So it's a waste of memory. That's why we are going to create these states. So we only have 3 states. So we are going to keep them static so that every time it can be reused. It will be only in the scope of this CPP file. Now, after this, we again have to implement the playing state stop method. It is going to take media player pointer player. Again, inside this, we are going to cout stopping playback handle, then static. In most of the videos that I've seen on YouTube, you would not see people creating this static variable, because the point here of using the static variable is because if you are going to have a long chain of repeated calls, then you're going to create multiple objects every time. So we can save some memory over there. So now at the end, we just have to say player set state to stop. In the same way, post state. Okay, we have the name post state. Yeah, post state. Inside post state, I have to implement the play and stop method. So first of all is the play method, which is going to take media player pointer player and again see out. We are going to say, since we are in the pause state and we are going to play it, so it means we are resuming the playback. Resuming playback handle. Then we are going to create the static object. Static. Uh, this time we are going to create the playing state object. Playing state. Playing. Then we are going to set the state to playing. The next function we need to have is the stop method. Void paused state. Inside this stop method will be there. Media player pointer player. We are going to say stopping from pause, let us say, handle. Now again static. This time we need stopped state. Stop. Then we are going to just set the player state to stop. After this, in the stop state class, we only have to implement the play method in void. So after this, we'll be implementing void stop state or stop state. We have the name stop state. Inside stop state, we need a play method. Media player, player, see out. Okay, we need starting playback because from the stop state, we are trying to go to the playing mode. And then static playing state, playing, player set state to playing. So all the transitions are done. Now let us try to implement the main method, how the client is going to interact using the media player. So we can say client int main. I'm going to first of all create a static stop state stopped because when the player is first time opened, it will be in the stop state. So media player and okay, media player. I have to pass the reference of the stop. Then player dot say play. We are going to call play. Then we are going to call player dot pause and say player dot play again. Right. So let us try to compile it and see if we have any errors. G++ state.cpp -o stat. It compiled successfully. Let us try to run it. And we can see the media player class is working absolutely fine. All the states are printed. So this is the way how we implement the state pattern. So you can see we have multiple states of the media player and we implemented it in different classes. In case you want to implement new states, you want to add on some new states to the media player, you can just by creating a separate class and implementing the player state, you can create a new state and they can switch between each other. It's just like the object is going to have some different behavior just by changing the state, internal state, you can say. So this is all about the state design pattern, and this was the last design pattern. After this, we are going to see the uh, system design questions. We'll be implementing multiple system design questions in C++. Uh, so if you have any doubts related to design patterns, you can ask in the comment section. We'll be happy to reply it. Thank you.